Hey YouTube, I thought I'd do another Nightmare on Elm Street remake update, and a whole bunch of interviews have just been released on a Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Uh, One of them is with Kyle Gallner, talking about his character, playing Nancy's boyfriend in the remake as Quentin. And there's also an interview with Rooney Mara talking about her character of Nancy. And get this, apparently there's going to be a whole new backstory to this remake. And apparently, Nancy knows Freddy as a child. Yeah, that brings a whole new perspective into A Nightmare on Elm Street. Finally, we get a re-envisioned backstory. This is going to be so cool. I mean, I cannot wait to see this. It's like rediscovering the character. I mean, sure, it has some iconic scenes with the hang coming out of the bathtub, and then, like, kind of like the Tina character going up in the air, that's all there. But wow, they are really re-envisioning this. Nancy knows Freddy as a child. This is going to be very, very interesting. And it's going to be really creepy. I cannot wait to see this. I think this is bringing a whole new thing to it. Rooney Mara said that Samuel Baird described the character of Nancy to her as the loneliest girl in the world. Now, this is going to be interesting because Nancy in the original Nightmare on Elm Street was kind of, not that lonely. In fact, she wasn't that lonely at all, I mean, there was a lonely aspect, later on that I saw kind of apparent later on in the movie, when she's getting attacked by Freddy, but she was kind of like a little popular girl. She was hanging out with the Tina character. But this Nancy's a little bit different. She's kind of the outsider. And I like this idea. They're rolling, with something really good here. And Nancy apparently is a painter in the film. I think that's really cool too. I think this remake is really going to be good, and I think they're really re-envisioning something here. And I've always thought of Nancy as the outsider girl, even in the original. But now in this remake, Samuel Bair's bringing that perspective back, basically. I never really thought she fitted in with the other characters, like the Tina character. She was kind of like the polar opposite of her. And I guess that's what they're bringing back to the remake, maybe. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really gonna go see it, and I'm gonna be excited about it, and I think it's gonna be awesome. And they had another interview with Jackie Earle Haley talking about his character of Freddy, and he said that Samuel Baird wanted to approach the character of Freddy very seriously. So I think this is going to be really cool. The script is written by Wesley Strick, who also wrote 1992's Cape Fear, which is a freaking classic, by the way. And then, you got the executive, but I didn't tell you guys this, but the executive producer is, get this, Robert Shea is the executive producer. Now, might not know this, but the original executive producer of the original Nightmare on Elm Street was Robert Shea. And he's produced pretty much every Nightmare on Elm Street movie ever made, even, part 2 and so on and so on. So to have him on board is going to be great for the film, because he's really going to make sure that this remake is top notch. I mean, come on, Robert Shea kicks ass, yo. And if you're a Freddy fan, you know that. They got, some other producers, Andrew Form, Brad Fuller, there are 3 main producers actually, Andrew Form, Brad Fuller, and Michael Bay. And Michael Bay, basically comes in and makes sure everything is going right. That's his job, to make sure it's flowing right. He's kind of the big shot producer. Platinum Dunes is kind of a company that was created by Michael Bay, actually. So, and Michael Bay put a lot of money into this film. He allowed Dunes to have a $27 million budget on this film. So, Michael Bay rocks, because he, is hiring really good people. I mean, you got Wesley Strick, you got Samuel Baird, who's a fantastic director. I think this film is gonna be kick-ass. And I respect Samuel Baird so much. He made so many iconic music videos in the 90s, Smells Like Teen Spirit, butterfly wings, so on. Like, so many videos. Blind Melon No Rain, come on, Blind Melon No Rain, awesome video. Blink-182, Stay Together for the Kids. And, Zombie by the Cranberries has this imagery in the video that is kind of dreamlike. So I think he's the perfect director for this remake, and he's really bringing something cool to the series. And I just like this whole idea of Nancy knowing Freddy as a child. That is freaking genius. Wesley Strick, you're a freaking genius. That backstory kicks ass. I don't care what nobody says, alright? I mean, the sequels, they were okay, but they lacked the scariness of Freddy. And let's face it, the backstories of some of the sequels, not that great. This backstory kicks ass. It's awesome. Nancy knowing Freddy as a child, that's a good freaking script. I mean, did you see Freddy's Dead? Come on, that was a bad script. I mean, the whole idea of Freddy's daughter knowing Freddy as a child, not scary. Nancy knowing Freddy as a child, very scary. This remake is gonna be freaking awesome. So anyways, I just thought I would update you guys on, what's going on in the remake and everything. And all the interviews. And if you want to check all those interviews out, I'm going to have a link to it on the side. Just click on it and all the interviews will come up. You can watch them all. Sweet. So that'll be on the side, everybody. Actually, this is a new YouTube, so it'll probably be like on the bottom or something. Yeah, because it's all different. The new layouts, like on the bottom or whatever. So just click on that. It's awesome. So that'll be on the bottom screen now, I guess. Unless you have the old layout, then it's on the side. But, whatever you got. So, anyways, Easter is coming up. This is going to be an awesome year. That's all I'm saying. I mean, got Easter coming out. A Nightmare on Elm Street coming out in the same month. Nightmare on Elm Street coming out on April 30th. This is the Year of the Tiger. And I'm a tiger on the Chinese calendar, by the way. So this is my year, everybody. This is my freaking year. This is awesome. Freddy Krueger is my favorite horror character, of course, of all time. And I really respect what Platinum Dunes is doing with this remake. I really respect them highly. I really like what they did with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And a lot of people badmouth the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, but I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And you know what? I would have never even discovered the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre if I would have not seen that remake. Because when I came out of that remake, I had like this face. Yeah! Because it was awesome. It was, when I saw that movie, I came out of it like, wow, that was a good horror film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was like, wow. It was such an amazing film to see, and I really liked how they directed it. And then I went out and I saw the original, I loved that too. But I would have not discovered the original if it wasn't for the remake. So I think that remakes allow people to rediscover horror characters. It brings a whole new generation in rediscovering the iconic horror characters, like Dracula. Somebody will see a new Dracula film, then they'll go back and they'll watch the classics, The classics will always be there, but remakes are always interesting and they're always cool to see. I mean, there's so many Dracula films that everybody loves, There is 162 Dracula films, and many of those films are classics. And, there's Nosferatu is the first Dracula film. A lot of people don't know that, and then they go back and they watch that, And technically, there's so many remakes of Dracula. I mean, you got Gary Oldman, who played Dracula. And he was fantastic as Dracula. And there's been actors throughout the years playing Dracula, and they're fantastic too, So it's cool to see other actors play iconic roles to rediscover the character, basically. And I really like what Dooms is doing with this remake. They're really respecting it, and they're making it serious. Anyways, have an awesome night.